Hey guys, right, welcome back to my channel. So I've been living in Japan for over 10 years now, and on today's video I'm going to be sharing my experiences living in Japan. The good, the bad, the weird, and if I recommend it. My first impression was exciting and a bit weird, and I got most of my influence from watching anime and movies and TV shows and games. However, when I eventually got to Japan, it was the exact opposite. There's nothing crazy or like really unusual about Japan. It's actually quite a chilled, easygoing country. Everyone minds their own business. People don't want to stand out. Safe, it's clean, it's organized, not super advanced technology. And I think that works out for the best, because for daily life, you don't want to live somewhere that's just like overly crazy dramatic. It's very chill here. When it comes to work, most people's default job is ALT, Assistant Language Teacher. It's the easiest way to get work in Japan, and you don't really need any qualifications, maybe just a university degree. However, this job is not consistent. It's on holiday for like 5 months of the year. You don't get enough money. So what's ideal to do is to get a part-time job on the side. One of the most common ways to get money on the side is by doing eikaiwa, which is an English conversation or private English classes. You can charge your own personal hourly rate. Some charge like 1,000 yen, or if you're really fit, 5,000 yen an hour. If your Japanese is quite decent, what some people like to do instead is translating, doing freelance work, be your own boss, and you can charge your own rate. Some people like to do translating or making subtitles for TV shows or videos. Some people like to teach business English, and some of these business English schools can charge quite a lot, actually, like 4,000 yen an hour. And also, some people who've been in Japan for really long, they just start their own business. The most common are like pubs, bars, cafes, or like small English schools. Some people actually joined Japanese companies, but I wouldn't advise it, because even if the money's good, you're subject to their rules, which means you're going to do overtime, 10, 12 hours daily, and it's just going to feel like a dead-end job. When it comes to dating, it's good. The girls here are pleasant, very nice, very well-mannered, feminine, and they don't expect much on a first date, which is good because you don't need to pay much. Something like a coffee or just going for a walk in the park, and that will be a perfect first date. If you want to meet girls for casual fun, then probably like Tinder or Bumble, but if you want to meet a proper girlfriend, I recommend apps like With or Tapple. You have to pay like a monthly fee, but the chances of finding a good girl, like girlfriend material, is more likely on those apps. When you start dating in Japan, what you need to be careful of is, not careful, just be aware of, is kokuhaku, which is like a formal declaration of going steady. It's like an unwritten rule, but usually after 3 or 4 dates, the girl would expect you to like make it clear on your intentions, and if you don't say anything, she's gonna be like doubting herself, thinking, what are we actually a relationship? I've made that mistake before. So if you're dating in Japan and you like the girl, then after a couple of dates, be prepared to state your intentions. Most Japanese girls don't like dating foreigners, and that shouldn't be a surprise to you. I mean, if you look at most countries which are like homogenous, they would rather date their own race, which is completely understandable. You will find someone in Japan. People of different races sometimes worry about not finding a girl that would like them. There are plenty of girls out here who would find you attractive and would like to date you, as long as you're somewhat reasonably good looking and not a weirdo. Oh, unfortunately, if you're here as an English teacher, a lot of girls would not like to date you. Quite early on in a conversation, the girl would ask, "What do you do?" And they would say, "I'm a teacher," and ghosted. That's the unfortunate truth, and there's nothing really you can do about it. You just have to Just try again and again and again, and you'll probably find someone who would appreciate you for who you are. But don't be surprised if people ghost you because you're an English teacher. Another thing to be careful of is girls who just want to use you for free English classes. It's quite common, unfortunately, and if you're okay with giving free English lessons, that's okay. But at least try to get something in exchange, like Japanese lessons. Then it's not a waste of your time. But for some people who think she might genuinely like you, just be careful and know why she's hanging out with you. It's actually really hard to find the ideal girl for you because there are 3 things that you should consider. One is the language level, another one is the values and culture. It's hard to find a perfect balance because for some people the level of language is really important so you can communicate. However, for some others it's family values, relationship values. Do you have the same values of what you want in a relationship? So don't rush, take your time to get to know someone, because you might find someone who's really good at English but you guys don't really have much in common, and vice versa. She might have good values but you can't even express yourself. This is one of the most what's happening to my voice? This is one of the most common mistakes guys make in Japan, is finding a girl, she's nice, but when time goes on you realize you don't really have much in common, and you might already have a kid, which can lead to a lot of grief. So just be careful. If I think about Japanese society, Japanese people are some of the most polite people I've ever met. Probably in the world, the most polite people I've ever met. I've never had anyone say bad things or pick on me in public. Never in 10 plus years. They mind their own business, they're very polite, well-mannered. The only exception you might have are a few elderly people who spit on the floor, cut the line, and maybe argue on the train. But that's about it really. The majority of Japanese people are very well behaved and polite, so thank you. Japan is really the safest place, one of the safest places in the world, no doubt. I can leave my house door unlocked, go to the convenience store, come back, don't even have to bring keys. You can go to the toilet in a bar or restaurant, leave your phone and bag. Don't worry, it's gonna still be there. I don't encourage you to do it, but I don't have to worry about that. I've left my jacket on a train with money and my cards, and when I reported it, everything was still intact. Yeah, what I like about Japanese people is that they have a sense of honor, so they follow the rules. No one cheats or steals here. You might get the one exception, but as a whole, Japanese people just don't do that. Often when you're walking down the street, you would see someone's wallet or glasses just on the side of the road, or just on the seat on the train, because they don't want to remove it because they know someone's going to come back and get it. It's fucking amazing. The only thing you have to be careful of is, as a woman, is chikan, which is touching on the train. Unfortunately, this is quite a common case, and I know some girls, Japanese and foreign girls, who this has happened to. And that's why they have the women's only card, to try and minimize this. This is one of the unfortunate cases of living in Japan as a girl. Some people ask me, is Japan racist? And I don't think Japan is racist. Let me explain. I've never had anyone say anything racist to my face. Never. I've never had someone start a fight with me. I think when it comes to racism in Japan, it's just more what people think of other countries. And that's not just Japan, that's many countries, especially homogenous countries. People are going to have views of certain nationalities which they're not familiar with. It could be ignorance, curiosity, or just lack of exposure. Some of my friends who are half Japanese, they've experienced it in school, especially in kindergarten or elementary school, where this is the most common stage of racism, where kids would just say what's on their mind, like, why do you have dark skin? Why do you have this name in katakana? And some kids do feel upset with that. However, this usually improves when the kids are more familiar with international kids in the classroom, like in junior high school, college. It improves over time. So yeah, when it comes to people having views and commenting online or on blogs, this is not only Japan. I guarantee any country you go to, even the least racist country, would have people commenting online about this person or this person. So I don't really think it's a problem in Japan. You can think whatever you want. As long as you're not saying it to my face and making other people feel uncomfortable directly, then it's fine. Is it hard to make friends in Japan? I think it depends on your age and your personality. I think in Japan, when people are in their late 20s, early 30s, then it becomes harder because they're more focused on their work. So they have less time for their personal social life. Every time they go out would be with their co-workers, like a nomikai. In your 20s, university, it's very easy to make friends and hang out. When I first came to Japan, I was in my early 20s and I went out every weekend. I went out to bars and clubs and made friends fairly easily. But also, another factor is like, were you doing this same thing back home in your country? If so, then it will be very easy to make friends in Japan. One of the best places is, yeah, definitely going to an international bar or joining a club online. They often do meetups in public. For me, I like to go out and drink, so Hub is my favorite place and I've made many friends there. Yeah, what you shouldn't do is stay home, because it's very easy in Japan to be a hermit, and I know for some people it cannot be helped, like the hikikomori, but it's encouraging a bad habit. And with all these like unlimited games and cards and books, it's all too easy to do that. And while you can do that, I wouldn't suggest it, because it's just not really a healthy way to live. So try to avoid relying too much on the entertainment. Try to go out and meet people face to face. For me, I like games, but I only play in the dead of winter when it's too cold outside. Try to go out as much as you can, see the country, make friends. Is Japanese food good? Yes. It's one of the best places for food in the world because it's so cheap and the quality is good. If you check out my other videos, I go camping, I buy Wagyu steak for like £7. It's ridiculously cheap. Japan has a variety of food, cheap, good quality. One of the problems for food though is, being an Englishman, I can't find any proper English food here. Like, there are no proper pie shops here. You can't really get cider apart from a few bars. Like pork sausages, bacon is not the same. It's not bad in Japan, it's just not like English style. So what you might have to do is just accept that you can't get everything from your home country. There are some international shops like Caldi, Costco. You can get like cheap American food, which is fine. If you're very particular about your home country's food, then you might be a bit upset about that. I just miss a steak pie. But yeah, man, Japanese food is fun. Ramen, gyoza, yakisoba, yakiniku, okonomiyaki, takoyaki. Each town has its own style of noodles or gyoza. Really, really fun. And because Japan is a small country, you could just travel from different towns and try the local style of the foods. It's pretty lovely. Some people ask me, is Japan a stressful country? And it is for Japanese people, because they live a different life to foreigners. I think Japanese people have way more pressure and are judged a lot more. Just the social norms which foreigners are exempt from. For foreigners, it's not very stressful. I don't really have to worry about much. I do my job and I go home and that's it. But there are so many unwritten rules for Japanese people, how they behave or how they act in public, how they speak, the way they speak. All these things are judged, and I think like how they work, how long they work, are they working enough, are they cooperating? They can get judged by their seniors, the senpai, and that could lead to just unnecessary stress. But my life personally, I don't really have stress. I have a good social life, my work is okay, love life is good. I would say that Tokyo is the most stressful place in Japan. It's a combination of the people, the noise, the high costs, and the overstimulation. There's constant noise, too much lights, and personally I can't stand it. That's why I live in a suburb outside of Tokyo. If you go to the countryside, Tochigi, Saitama, Chiba, Kanagawa, Gunma, you can avoid the stresses of Tokyo, and it might not be as fun as exciting as Tokyo is, but your daily life is going to be much better. The air is going to be cleaner, it's going to be quieter, you can afford a bigger place, and we can do more outdoor activities, hiking, camping, cycling. In Tokyo, it's hard just to find a normal park to lie down on. Most Japanese don't speak English at all, but they try, and I really appreciate that. Me personally, I speak Japanese in my daily life for shopping, going out. I'm not best at Japanese, I never really studied, but I just developed and memorized useful phrases for daily survival practice. It's good enough to make friends and dating and using your daily job. Yeah, so if you're coming to Japan, I recommend learning Japanese. You don't need to study properly, but be open to use more Japanese than English or whatever language in your daily life. It's going to benefit you. The more you know, the more options you have for dating, the more options you have for your work, and you're not going to seem like Borat. The most difficult thing to understand in terms of communication is the indirect style that Japanese people speak. It's just how they speak. It's not like a bad habit. For politeness, Japanese people speak indirectly, and people read between the lines what they mean really. It can be hard because you don't know if they're happy or not. And for some people who are the opposite of how Japanese speak is like maybe how American people communicate, very direct, straight to the point. And you might think you're having a good day, or your client is happy, all for a sudden you get a complaint or they're unhappy with something, but they wouldn't verbalize it directly to your face. They would go to a middleman to express the problem. That's one of the hardest things to try to figure out in Japan, is really understanding what Japanese people want to say, because they wouldn't verbalize it directly. It takes a while to figure out what they really want to say. The more you stay in Japan, the more you kind of read between the lines and figure out what they really want to say. It's tough, it just takes time. So in a nutshell, Japan is really safe, really cheap, peaceful, it's fun, people are pleasant, people mind their own business, you can find work here fairly easily, no one's gonna harass you, like no like discrimination to your face, you can go out late, no one's gonna pick a fight with you, property's nice here, you can get a nice big place which you couldn't even get a fraction of in your home country. Yeah, the only challenges you have really are like trying to really understand Japanese people's thinking, and dating can be hard because you're trying to find the perfect Goldilocks level of language, family values, and culture, which can be a challenge. And yeah, you might get homesick if you can't get your food or find friends of your nationality. But you can address that if you just go out and be proactive. Try to avoid being a hermit. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for checking out my video. Let me know what you think. Have you had similar experiences to me? If you're curious, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment down below. These are my personal experiences, so I'm just speaking for myself, so don't get too upset about it. Alright, cheers.